Oh, hey, we're live, baby. Woo! I can't believe this. I finally figured out how to show my screen, how to share my screen during a live stream. So this should be a big improvement for a lot of things. Let's see if we can flip around to different streams or different screens. Okay, yeah. So we can go in and out into different streams. All right, you guys. Grace, mercy, and peace from him who is and was and is to come very soon, I'm certain. This is Rogue Diabetic, and welcome to the Digital Wilderness. All right, so the cool thing about this is now I might be able to actually have guests via Skype or Facebook Messenger, etc., etc. Got a little bit of a toothache tonight, so bear with me. I'll try not to slur my words too much. Okay. Let's see. Let's start out with this.
The Lord has...
All right, so this is my friend Rena from Revelation 11:11. And I guess we can just start out by I want to have her on for a live stream. So we'll just
been speaking in that soft, gentle voice
to her for a little bit.
And he keeps telling me over and over again, Amos, Amos, Amos. And so I have been reading that over and over the last couple of days and listening to it over and over by Max McLean and trying to get a better understanding. And I do. I have a lot better understanding, but I don't understand everything. I haven't taken it and broken it down with the Strong's Concordance. However, I will be doing that. Now, what I'm going to do, because this is what was commanded of me, is to read this to you. I was going to, because the Lord started to tell me some things. He told me to get paper. That's the next thing I'm going to do. That'll be the next video. I am going to just read. Okay, so here we go. The words of Amos, who was among the herdmen. So now Amos was not a prophet. Amos was a shepherd, and he was not a prophet, and his father was not a prophet. So he was a herdsman. He took care of the sheep. And what happened was in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah, and in the days of Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel, 2 years before the earthquake. Now, this was the other thing, is that I keep hearing earthquakes, child, earthquakes. So let me just tell you that in the last 5 days, there have been 81 tornadoes in the United States. And we, in the last 5 days, have had 33 volcanoes, not in the United States, but all over the world, 33, and many more that are about to erupt. And I do believe.
Hey, it's Ryan. I'm live streaming your last video. Give me a call. I want to have you on. Bye. All right, so yeah, you know, it's tornado season. And I mean, I don't remember, or I don't know if I should say I don't remember, but it's like recently, as far as it goes recently, this has been like there have been an unusually high amount. It seems like it to me, at least. I haven't done a real breakdown of it. I haven't like actually looked into the records, but and we're reasonably early on. I mean, the peak time is usually like June and July for those types of storms, and we were already getting them in late April. So that's pretty early. Now they're going to be a little bit. You're going to, they're going to pick up as the summer goes on, and then they kind of fall off as you get into late summer. But yeah, there's been.
Believe that it has something to do with our sun, and things that we are just maybe we don't need to know about. It is mystery. Okay. The book of Revelation is a lot of mystery, but these things, these times that we're coming into are very serious, very, very serious.
Yes.
You see it all over the world. So the earthquakes, because the last 3 days I have been fasting and praying. I know you're not supposed to tell people about that, but it's just because I had to know. And the only way you have spiritual breakthrough is through fasting. Okay. And so let me quickly go real quick before I go on any further and let you know that Jesus loves you. And that if you would just admit you're a sinner in need of a savior, B, believe in the blood that he shed upon the cross for you in your sins, past, present, and future, and upon his name, and he is worthy to be praised, and confess out loud that Jesus is Lord. D, demonstrated deliverance upon a water baptism, receiving that water baptism. You are literally reborn, taken out of this life, out of this world that you were born into, and reborn into the kingdom of heaven, back into the kingdom of heaven, because that's where you come from. And if you hear this and you know that it's true, you can feel it in your inner being. And all of us, the Lord wants all of us to come to him. And so just be lowly, humble, submit yourself to him. And the office that he's given you, maybe just a small responsibility. And as time goes on, he'll give you a little bit more responsibility here and there. And, I'm somebody that's very spur of the moment. I let the Holy Spirit move, and he just will all of a sudden tell me after some days of praying and so forth. And it'll just be very spur of the moment. But love, family, spending time with your loved ones and like really showing them up to growing up in the right way. And that is raising them up in the Bible, the children. That way they don't depart from it when they grow up. But we are in a time when it is just, we are really, really at war with these spiritual, the spiritual wickedness that is trying to wreak havoc in our world right now. Okay, so I'm going to get back to this reading so you can hear about it because it's very important. And yes, the earthquakes are coming this weekend all over. There's at least 3 major earthquakes.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. Rena does a really good job of delivering the whole ABCs of the gospel. She added D, demonstrated deliverance by receiving a water baptism. That's very important, actually, that she added that. And that's one of her contributions, one of her many contributions. And so I would just reiterate the same thing right now. A, admit that you're a sinner. B, believe on the blood that was shed for the forgiveness of your sins. C, what was it? Confess. And D, demonstrate deliverance by receiving a water baptism. Sums it up. Hopefully we can have Rena. I'd like to start doing this more regularly and maybe at a little bit more decent hour. It is getting kind of late. I know it's midnight out on the coast. 10 Mountain, 9 Pacific. So we need to try to probably start doing these a couple hours earlier. Hopefully we can get some people on them. I don't think I've had anybody pop in yet. But I think now that I figured out how to share my screen, that we can actually have a little bit better. We can actually have a little bit better. I can put on a better presentation. So because you can actually see what I'm talking about. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get to it. The title of this was, what was it? What did I title this? The Pandemic Preparedness Plan. And so I want to go over a few other things first before we get into that. I want to get some of these tabs closed out. One of the things that I want to do a video on here soon, maybe hopefully a whole stream here pretty soon, is this. Palestinian Christians. So it's my belief that there are a lot more Christians out there. That there are a lot more Christians in Palestine, or Israel if you prefer. I mean, I prefer Palestine because Israel is national Israel. Physical national Israel is dead. They've been dead for 2,000 years. There is no more Israel. There is no more physical national Israel on planet. Israel is a spiritual. Okay, it's not something. You're not a part of Israel by being descended from a certain person. I mean, if that were the case, then I mean, there might be it might actually be something like half the world. Certainly a much bigger portion of people than they claim that are claimed to be Jews now would be descended from Israel. And actually, but getting if you get into the specifics about the word Jew, okay, that's even more specific. That's even more specific than the term Israel. Okay, because the descendants of Israel were descended from Jacob, who God changed his name to Israel. So, and that included all 12 tribes of Judah, all 12 tribes of Israel, including Judah and Benjamin. But when you get to the word Jew, they're specifically talking about, they're not talking about the northern 10 tribes. They're talking about the southern tribes of Israel, or of Judah and Benjamin. So it's a totally loaded term. Okay, you're not saved by being a Jew. Being a Jew does not give you being a Jew, being an Israeli doesn't give you carte blanche to steal land from Palestinian Christians, or any kind of Palestinian for that matter. Pissed off the algorithm. Okay, and I can't remember what I wanted to go over on this one. But we'll go ahead and we'll come back. We'll do a stream on this later. I really want to dig into this, especially the most recent iteration, this most recent conflagration that started on the 7th of October. Okay, there's no way that you could attack Israel from the Gaza Strip unless Israel let you. There's no way you could get weapons into Israel without Israel letting the weapons in. Okay, now that could mean one of two things. It could mean that it could mean that there was no attack on Israel on October 7th, or check this out, it could mean that there was an attack, but Israel allowed it to happen. And if that's the case, then my suspicion is that it was much more limited. The casualties were overstated. Nobody got taken hostage. You know, I wouldn't put it past Israel to a few sodomites to sacrifice a few sodomites like the ones at that music festival. But there wasn't the casualties weren't what they weren't didn't go to the extent that they said they did. It's nonsense. Israel is 25 miles long. Maybe we'll get into that a little bit here coming up. But there's just no way. Donald Trump, Florida Senator George Latipo says COVID. We better move on from that one. Oh, this is a good one. I guess I wasn't sharing those last couple tabs, but Israel's smart fence along the 40-mile Gaza Strip is over 20 feet high and includes an underground concrete barrier. The fence also has a maritime barrier with remote-controlled weapons and ways to detect infiltration by sea. The barrier is made up of a multi-layered fence with 3 fences, 2 outer fences with barbed wire stacks, and a middle fence with intrusion detection equipment. It also includes a 9-meter-high concrete wall, an anti-vehicle ditch, patrol roads, and a sand strip for tracking. Okay, you guys. You think a bunch of dirt poor Palestinians, a bunch of dirt poor starving Palestinians got through this barrier, and there's more to it. Let's see if we can find some more factoids. But there's it's patrolled. There's a patrol road on both sides. Okay, so Israel patrols and controls both sides of this border. Okay, there's not like it's not like a border in the sense that like this isn't really a very good example either anymore. But like the United States-Mexico border, where the United States controls the United States side and Mexico, or at least in theory, and Mexico controls the Mexico side. Okay, Israel controls both sides of the border. And when you talk about the border with Egypt, that's not even really a border with Egypt. Egypt shares a border with Israel. There's a buffer zone that's controlled by Israel between Egypt and the Gaza Strip. Here's an article. How Hamas breached. Let's take a look at this one. I gotta see this. Okay. How Hamas breached Israel's iron wall. Let's see how nonsensical this is. The massive, complex attack on Israel on Saturday by militants from Gaza Strip stunned Israelis who watched in horror as fighters easily bypassed one of the world's most advanced security systems. At least 900. So the number now I think is 1,200. I think I maybe even saw like at one point 1,400. But the fact that the arbitrator, as of the writing of this, I mean, they could pick any number between 800 and 1,000. But this is the 9 is the upside down 6. More than 2,000 wounded. Okay, so that's 2, 6. That's 6, 6. That's 3 6s right there. More than 100 people have been taken captive. Okay. They're not going to let me read this whole article. Oh, by the way, for any of these articles that I read portions of, it's fair use. But no, I would have to subscribe and sign in, I guess. So we kind of crapped out on that one. That sucks. Oh, I don't know what I want to say now. I guess since no one's watching, it's not that big of a deal what I say. All right, you guys. So we're gonna do a whole stream on this. It's a genocide. It's murder. But anyway, moving on. Oh wait, before we move on from Israel Palestine, I do want to hit one more topic. The Nakba did not start or end in 1948. And this article is a good article. It just kind of gives you an idea of the history of the Palestinian Israeli conflict. Nakba, or catastrophe, referring to the ethnic cleansing of Palestine and the near total Palestinian society in 1948. So, on that day, the state of Israel came into being. The creation of Israel was a violent process that entailed the forced expulsion of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians from their homeland to establish a Jewish majority state as per the aspirations of the Zionist movement. Between 47 and 49, at least 750,000 Palestinians from a 1.9 million population were made refugees beyond the border of the state. Zionist forces had taken more than 78% of historic Palestine, ethnically cleansed and destroyed about 530 villages and cities, and killed about 15,000 Palestinians in a series of mass atrocities, including more than 70 massacres. Okay, so if you're a Christian, okay, and you just remember that that's what the Israelis did: genocide and murder. Hold on, I'm coming back. Okay, so where were we? Oh yeah, I remember where we were. Here. All right, so this is what we want to take a look at tonight. This is like so important, you guys, but they're like distracting you from right now. With all the other stuff, I mean, even like the earthquakes, and the EMPs, and because I actually like I put my cell phones in my computer. I put my cell phones in my computer in a Faraday bag last night just in case that aurora that magnetic was last night. Who knows what it really is? I don't. It's not particles coming from a burning ball of gas 93 million miles away. What exactly it is exactly we don't know for sure, or I don't know. If you have any like ideas, let me know in the comments. The going on right now, the solar eclipse, although that was a sign from heaven, right? And they tried to block it out, and I'll show you some footage of that, and sometime. We'll start doing these like every Saturday night. We'll do them on Friday night and Saturday night, and hopefully we can get some people on, where we can just sit and talk and chill, and get together with each other. So but this is what they're distracting us from. Revised draft of the negotiating text of the WHO pandemic agreement. And I honestly don't know is the most recent iteration of this. It's from 13 March, so probably it's not gonna be like it's all of a sudden it's gonna be there. Right? It's gonna be like the final. It'll be like the changes to it all the way up until the end, so they can say that so they can plausibly deny that this agreement, this pandemic agreement that 190 countries are going to sign off on, that 190 countries are going to agree to. They're gonna put it off like they're like doing their desperate level best to pretend like this document doesn't strip the signatory nations of their fee, and that's exactly what it does. And so I just want to without reading this whole thing, I do want to I found it the other day. It might take a long. It's 29 long. I mean, it's just like, and there's 29 pages of, deeply concerned by the gross inequities at national and international levels that hinder timely and equitable access to medical and other coronavirus disease pandemic related products and the serious shortcomings in pandemic preparedness. I mean, what does that even mean? I mean, it's like totally like, it's like word salad. And that's not even like that. That was just where I started reading. There's like better examples or worse examples. I don't know, one or the other of where it's just like it doesn't even make any sense. Like what they're like the text. There's just like parts of it where it just literally is like doesn't make any sense. Regional Economic Integration Organization means an organization that is composed of several states into which its member states have transferred competence over a range of matters, including the authority to make decisions binding on its member states in respect of those matters. Ruh-roh. That's Sassy. And then there's the word salad. There's like there's the word salad. But then like mixed in with that is this like euphemisms, for lack of a better word, where they actually like tell you what they're planning on doing, and it's quite frightening. This is actually like, I'm glad we like landed on this one, because this is a pretty like, you can deny that this agreement is going to like transfer sovereignty from nation states to a one world, to a sole organization, the World Health Organization. You can deny that all you want, but when you have a document that says Regional Economic Integration Organization, means an organization that is composed of several sovereign states into which its member states have transferred competence over a range of matters. I mean, that's not like, that basically means that these regional economic integration organizations are become the sovereign entity. Relevant diagnostic therapeutic or variolation means a diagnostic therapeutic or variolation that is pre-qualified by WHO or has received a positive WHO emergency use listing assessment or an authorization from a national regulatory authority for treatment, diagnosis, or prevention of a disease in relation to which WHO has declared a public health emergency of international concern or characterizes a pandemic. So, I mean, and this is just the definition sections, but you can see where this is going. Universal means that all people have access to the full range of quality health services they need, when and where they need them, without financial hardship. It covers the full continuum of essential health services, from health promotion to prevention, treatment, rehabilitation, and palliative care. And, okay, so let's stop right there. Palliative care, just so you know, it's like when somebody's like really sick and they're dying, and you give them like a pan full of, or you give them a bunch of like drugs that you basically like that basically just numb them. And I mean, I don't want to like totally disparage palliative care, because there's certain instances where it's like appropriate. If somebody's going to die and they're in a lot of pain, giving them a drug, like a tranquilizer or something like that, they might that's going to keep them from feeling any pain, but that they're not going to wake up from, could be appropriate, in my opinion. The problem with this is in the context of universal health coverage. This means that whoever controls this universal health coverage is going to define what palliative care is and when exactly it should be employed. It's not going to be like an individual in their family making these kinds of decisions. Okay, it's going to be the World Health Organization. WHO Coordinated Laboratory Network means laboratory alliances or networks coordinated by WHO in which each laboratory meets WHO standards and agrees to legally binding terms of reference that include arrangements to notify users of biological materials for pathogens with pandemic potential of benefit sharing provisions under the PABS system. Wow. That's scary. I don't even really know what I just read. What's PABS? See, and that's somewhere in the definitions, but I mean, then they use all these acronyms and stuff, and you don't even know what they're talking about. Laboratory alliances or networks coordinated by the WHO. I don't know. That's scary. Chapter 2, the world together equitably, achieving equity in, for, and through pandemic prevention, preparedness, response. Yeah, I mean, look, you guys, this is communism. And I mean, One Health, Article 5, One Health approach pandemic prevention, preparedness, and response. Wait a minute, Chapter 2. Oh, I see. They got articles, chapters. Okay, so Chapter 2, Article 6, Preparedness, Health Systems, Resilience and Recovery, Scary, Health and Care Workforce. That means everybody's going to work for the WHO. Preparedness, Monitoring, and Functional Review, Research and Development. And this is Chapter 2, Article 8 and 9. Sustainable and geographically diversified production. Access and benefit. Supply chain and logistics. So they're going to control all this. This is a mechanism to control all these different things, everything. So when we get into this, okay, and we will. Okay, so I'm going to go to the chase on this, and then there's a provision in here on sovereignty, and basically what it says is this doesn't nullify national sovereignty unless the WHO decides it does. And we'll dig that up somewhere, and I'll show it to you and read it to you. But that's basically what they say. Well, as long as countries can just make whatever decision they want to make, as long as it doesn't negatively affect their people or other people. So who's the arbiter of whether their sovereign decisions are negatively impacting their people or other people? The answer is the WHO. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up now, and hopefully we can do this one again, this stream again. Now that I know how to do this, Hopefully we can do this stream again. So, but we'll wrap it up for now. Basically, on May 27th, I believe it is, they're going to enter. There's in the last week of May, they're going to get together at this World Health Organization assembly, and there's going to be like representatives from unelected representatives, by the way, from every country in the world that are going to agree to adopt this, right? Now, okay, and that's like fait accompli. There's nothing we can do to stop that right now. There's nothing anybody anywhere can do to stop that. And I mean, I guess I won't speak for anybody else, but for the United States, I mean, they're going to agree to this. They're gonna agree to this, and theoretically, it should go to the Senate for ratification. Now, this is where it becomes more speculative, because on the one hand, they could just say, "Oh yeah, this is a presidential agreement. Joe Biden, he can just, as long as it's not a treaty, then Joe Biden can get into a treaty as long as they don't call it a treaty." Because that was back with during the Hussein Obama administration. It was like, "Oh yeah, global warming and climate change and Paris Accords and Biden, Obama just like, it's not a treaty because he called it something other than a treaty, so Obama can just say it without any advice and consent of the Senate." Right. Right. And then once Trump got in, they were like, "Oh, Trump can't get out of it. Because if we just get into these things and then get out of them arbitrarily." Right. And I'm not defending Trump, you guys. I'm not defending Trump. Don't get me wrong. He's an asshole too. So, but okay, so the one play is they call this like a presidential agreement or other, and not call it a treaty, which is possible. But I actually believe that this would get ratified in the Senate. Okay, for a couple different reasons. First of all, if they send it and that's what they should do. That's what they're going to do. So they can say, "Well, the Senate ratified it." Right? You need a 2/3 majority of the members of the Senate, of the present members of the present members of the Senate, present at the vote, to ratify a treaty. Okay. The Democrats control the Senate. They don't have to control the House. These QAnon or jackass Republicans say. These America First Republicans, they have no they have no say in whether this goes down or not. Okay, this is the president, the Senate, and the Supreme Court. And if it gets ratified by a vote of the Senate, then the Supreme Court is going to sign off on it. Okay. So they have the machinery, they have control of the machinery, the Democrats do, to bring this to a vote. Right? Because all they need is 51. But in order to buy it, they're going to need 16 Republicans. And actually, there's 48 Democrats. There's actually fewer Democratic senators than there are Republicans. But the 3 or 4 independents always vote for the Democrats. They're all going to vote for this. They're all going to vote for this. There's not going to be any way for bringing this to a vote on the floor. And all they need is 16 Republicans to sign off on this. And that shouldn't be hard. Because this is the end game. This is the last piece of the puzzle. this is like, this is checkmate on American democracy. Or I mean, if you prefer, on the American Republic. I mean, we've been. I mean, our republic has been like, well, teetering on the brink of extinction now for a very long time. At least since the beginning of the 20th century. You could definitely argue since the beginning of the Civil War. Maybe even like, and then there's some people that would even argue that this is the whole experiment was destined to fail. Was deliberately designed to fail. Was deliberately designed to end up in this position. Okay, the World Health Organization agrees to this treaty. It goes to the Senate for ratification. It gets ratified. Then the Supreme Court was like, well, the Senate ratified it. And then it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time until the World Health Organization chooses to exercise its power to declare a public health emergency and take over total control of all the governments and all the economies of the world. This is it, you guys. And I mean, you can talk Bible prophecy and all that stuff, and that's a good thing to do. The Bible predicted this, from the beginning. So, but this is like you reject the Bible as a source of authority, or you reject God as a source of authority. This is fait accompli. And once it's entered into, they're not going to exercise their authority. They're not going to declare a public health emergency. The first opportunity they have, they're going to declare a public emergency. It could be anything. It could be global warming. It could be like anything. A war, I would suspect. You could call a public health emergency. Another novel microorganism. You could call anything a public health emergency. So look, you guys, this is over. This is over. There's no way. There's no way that we can like this now. So you can I mean, if Jesus isn't real, if there isn't a God, then buckle up, because the kind of and there's going to be some hard times in the not too distant future. But if there's no God, then there'll be a worldwide tyranny until there's a supernova that wipes out humanity. So like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Like I said, hopefully we'll do this maybe a couple times a week. Maybe I can find some guests to have on. I'm out, you guys.